Hello, my friends, it's Lisa, and welcome to my bullet journal setup for the month of October. So, October is the official start of spooky season. Now, I know me and so many other people have been in the spooky season mood for quite a while now. I know some people are in spooky season all year round, but October is when everyone else kind of gets on board and joins the spooky season vibes. So, this month, I of course had to do some sort of Halloween theme. This year, though, for my October theme to do with Halloween, I wanted it to be a little bit more wholesome, I guess, than years previously. Not that I've done anything super scary or super intense or anything in years past. Last year I did a potion theme, the year before I did pumpkins and moons, so nothing too crazy. But this year I really wanted to focus on the more wholesome, cozy, kind of cute Halloween vibes. So I actually get a monthly subscription from the brand Sticky, and this is not sponsored, but I wish it was because I love the brand. I actually get a monthly subscription from them, so each month I get sticker packs and sticker sheets from them. And I think it was last year that they had a theme and it was called Bakecraft. So the whole idea was it was witches and witchcraft, but there was also baked goods involved. And the croissant on the cover page of this that I drew was directly taken kind of from that sticker sheet. I got a lot of inspo from that. They have a croissant with little cat ears, and I just thought it was so cute. And I just love the idea of making baking kind of witchy. So that's where I got my theme inspiration from this month. So I will have the artist linked below who created this sticker sheet for Sticky because I want to give credit. I definitely replicated that croissant with the kitty ears and took a lot of inspiration from that sticker sheet. I just really love the idea of combining witchcraft with baking, so I will have the artist linked below. I also thought that this theme was pretty similar to a theme I did earlier in the year. I think it was February. I did a baking theme, and to me this just feels like the Halloween spooky version of that theme. Very similar color scheme, kind of similar style of doodles and everything, so it's just kind of fun to have the Halloween version of that baking theme I did earlier this year. And speaking of the drawings for this theme, I did the croissant and also some waffles with the kitty ears, a witch's hat, a cup of tea or coffee or maybe a potion, who knows, a potion bottle, and a tea bag that has kind of magical elements in it. I just wanted to add a bit of magic to everything, so I added some star doodles as well to add to that. And then I wrote October in this kind of bubble letter type of lettering. It's kind of funky, kind of different, but I thought it went with the kind of Halloween vibes for this month. So yeah, that is the cover page done and kind of the overall idea behind the theme this month. So now we're moving on to my calendar spread. So obviously I wanted to use the same colors within the same color palette for the actual calendar. So I used a purple pen and marker for the header at the top where I will write the days of the week. And then for the actual calendar, for the actual grid, I used a tan marker just to keep that theme going in the calendar. I actually didn't use any black markers throughout this theme. I don't think I used any black fine liners or anything for any of the doodles. So I kind of thought that using a black marker for the calendar would have been too harsh, and I think this overall theme is very soft, it's very pastel, so I think the kind of lighter colors and using the tan marker for all of the lines that I have to draw, any of the boxes, I think just makes a little bit more sense. So I just drew all of the boxes for the days of the month, and then in these kind of bigger rectangle boxes that would technically be the first few days of November and the last few days of September, I colored in with this pale tan yellow color. I really like the look of having those boxes there but just kind of colored in and not being used, and I think it also helps to kind of fill up some of the empty space on the calendar spread so that I'm not trying to have to fill in as much of a page with doodles or whatever it may be. So I really like the look of that. And then I'm just going in at the top and labeling the days of the week as well as the numbers for the days of the month. And then that is the actual calendar for the spread done. And now we can kind of work on the empty space surrounding it. So at the top of the calendar, I just write out October in that same kind of bubble letter font. And then on the sides kind of surrounding the calendar, I drew a lot of the same drawings that are on the cover page. So I did all the same drawings that I did on the cover page, but then on the right side, I still had some space down on the bottom, right corner, and I had done all of the drawings that I did on the cover page, so I thought of something else to do. I was like, why don't I do a magic wand? So that's what I decided to draw there, and what's funny is I actually, really didn't like the way that drawing came out. I used the pen to kind of make some details on the wand itself, and then I used a couple of different shades of brown, but for some reason I was just like, this just doesn't look good. And then when I kind of squinted my eyes a bit and took a step back, I was like, you know what? It kind of looks like a breadstick. It kind of looks like a baguette. And I was like, that actually fits the theme because it's bakecraft. So the wand itself looks like a breadstick. That was totally on accident, not at all intentional, but I actually think, like, once I kind of realized it looked like bread, I actually think it was my favorite drawing that I did in this entire theme. So it actually worked out. Sometimes you make good mistakes, but I decided to draw that with some little stars coming out of it to kind of replicate the magic coming out of the end of the wand, but definitely was like my favorite mistake I think that I've ever made in my bullet journal, because it went from being, this is really ugly, to actually, no, this is perfect. But while we watch me finish up these drawings for the calendar page, I thought we could take this moment to check in, see how you all are doing. How was the month of September for you? I hope it was good. I hope you had some good things happen, whether they were big things or small things. Definitely let me know any highlights from the month, anything good that happened, anything exciting. And if September was not a good month for you, I hope that October is better. I'm sending all of you so much love, and hopefully spooky season is a good one. But now that the October calendar page is done, we can move on to the next spread, which is going to be my habit tracker. So again, using that same similar like funky bubble letter font up at the top to label the page, and then I draw 8 like mini calendars for each habit that I want to track this month. And for the mini calendars, which I'm going to use to keep track of each habit this month, I basically just replicated what I did on the calendar page and just made a mini version. So I use the purple marker and purple pen to make the header for each habit. I use the tan marker to kind of outline the actual calendar. And then I also use the tan yellow marker to mark off the days I don't need for the actual habit tracker. So it's just like mini versions of the calendar that I just did on the previous page. So as always, I'm keeping track of the same things that I always keep track of each month. So when I read, when I listen to my audiobook, when I post to YouTube or Instagram, when I wash my hair, when I do my skincare routine, and when I use mouthwash and when I floss. I could switch it up, but these are also the ones that are the most important for me to keep track of. And I don't know, maybe sometime I will eventually add some things, change things out, but these are just definitely the things that I find the most important for me to track. But definitely let me know if there are any like must-haves that you keep track of each month, because maybe I can take some inspiration and use them in my own habit tracker in the future. But I'd love to know what you have to track each month in your habit trackers. And then I decided to add some of the stars that I've been adding throughout all of these spreads, just to add a bit of the magic onto this spread without it being too busy and being able to see the habit trackers and the most important thing on the page. But I wanted to add a bit of something to the page. It was a little too plain. So I added some stars, and then that is the habit tracker spread done. So now we can move on to the right side of the page, where it's going to be my monthly favorite spread. So as always, for my monthly favorite spread, I like to keep track of any of the music that I was listening to throughout the month, any entertainment, TV shows, movies, books, anything like that I was loving, and as well as any memories or just like anything that doesn't fit into either of those two categories. This is just a spread that I always do, and it's always fun to be able to look back on in the future. So definitely one that I'd like to have each month, as repetitive as it is for me to do and talk about each month. But I thought, like last month, we could talk about some of my previous favorites from the month prior, so some of my September favorites. So for the music I was loving in September, first I wanted to mention 5 Sauce or 5 Seconds of Summer. They released a single from their new album called Older, but their new album is actually coming out the day after I'm recording this voiceover, and even though I haven't technically heard it yet, I'm sure that's a favorite in September. I am so excited for the album. I've loved all the singles that they've released, so definitely excited for that album, and I'm sure will technically be a September favorite for me. And for kind of more entertainment things, I do have a couple of books to mention, of course. So From Lukov with Love by Mariana Zapata was definitely a standout favorite of the month, as well as the first couple of books in the Diviner series by Libba Bray. I've been absolutely loving reading those books in that series. And as for just like general lifestyle things, I've been using my Kindle a ton in September. I got a Kindle for my birthday back in August, and it's definitely been something I've used so much in September, and I'm absolutely loving it. So yeah, those are some of my favorites from the past month. Definitely let me know anything you were loving in September, because I'd love to get some recommendations. But now we can move on to my next spread, which is actually a new spread. Who would have thought? Sometimes I just get stuck doing the same things over and over. But this month I decided to add a page for any like fall related things that I want to consume over the next couple of months. So any movies, any shows, or any books that I really want to read, I wanted to have a place to kind of write them down and be able to kind of check them off when I do watch them or read them. There are so many things that I want to watch around this time of year, whether they're things that I watch every single year, such as Hocus Pocus and Halloween Town, but there's also a lot of new things that I would love to watch this year as well, and I thought it might be nice to have a place to write all those things down and have kind of like a master list for me to reference throughout not just October, but probably November as well. Some things I'm definitely going to be adding to these lists. For movies, I of course will have Hocus Pocus and Halloween Town, all of the Halloween Town movies except for the fourth one on these lists. I watch those movies every single year, but there's also a lot of new movies or new to me movies that I've never seen that I would like to watch this year, so definitely going to have those on the list. I also, for shows, would love to make some progress in Gilmore Girls. I started watching that show for the first time like a year and a half ago, still halfway through season 4, so I'm going to, I think, try and watch some more of that this fall. I'd also love to do a rewatch of Over the Garden Wall. I watched that for the first time last year and it was so cute, so definitely would love to rewatch that. And as for the book section, I actually made a whole video talking about books that I want to read over the next couple months before the end of the year, so I'm definitely going to be referencing that video when filling out that section, but I just thought it would be really great to have a kind of master list of everything that I want to consume in the fall months. I also showed me writing Hocus Pocus as an example, but definitely let me know any recommendations, anything I should be adding to these sections, anything that I should prioritize to watch or read this season, because I'd love to hear your recommendations as always. But now we can move on to my final spread for this bullet journal setup, my first weekly spread. So I'm going back to the layout that I've been doing all year. This has been kind of my go-to kind of weekly spread layout all year. I basically have done this every single month. I've switched it up occasionally, but not much. So I have 7 boxes for each day of the week, and then in that empty space up at the top, I write out a mini calendar just to kind of be able to quickly reference that within my weekly spread, see the kind of month at a quick glance, and then I use the light pale yellow marker to kind of highlight the week that correlates with that weekly spread. And of course I add some of the stars just to add a little bit of the magic onto my weekly spread, and I wanted to keep it pretty simple so that I just can focus on what I need to write down, the things I need to do, but that is kind of the weekly spread layout that I've done a lot, but it just seems to work for me, so it's gonna be the one I think I keep going back to. But those are all of the spreads for this month, so here's a flip through of how they all turned out. Definitely let me know down below what theme you decided to go with for October. Spooky season is such a fun month to do in your bullet journal, and I'd love to know what you decided to do. There's so many different things you can do for it, so definitely let me know what theme you decide to go with. Also, if you're gonna dress up for Halloween, let me know what you're dressing up as. I'd love to know. But that is going to be it for my October bullet journal setup, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.